Welcome to Agripreneur, where we discover the vast world of agricultural entrepreneurship. Before we begin, let's take a look at some of our basic market commodities. Now, the agricultural sector has the potential to be one of Nigeria's largest GDP contributors, with several Nigerians involved in different forms of agricultural practices. However, in recent times, the agricultural sector has struggled, contributing less than it used to. Today on the show, we will be delving into agricultural productivity and focusing on what the yield for the rest of the year of 2024 will be looking like.
The last few years have proven to be trying times for Nigerian farmers, and 2024 hasn't exactly been an exemption. The challenges faced by the agric sector can be attributed to several debilitating factors, such as Nigeria's waning economy and high levels of insecurity. The impact of Nigeria's struggle against the dollar is directly seen in the purchasing power of the average Nigerian, making it a real challenge to keep this farmer's poultry business alive.
Just like any other thing, and normally poultry business is supposed to be a very rewarding one, but with the nature of the economic challenges we have in the country, it will also not leave out that sector out. Most of the things from all inputs, right, starting from the cost of the chicken to the feed, to the drugs, vaccine, and all these items have seen an upward trend in the year 2024 compared to the previous years. Expectedly, we hope that there will be beds available to service the population, but may not necessarily meet the required target, because most of even the people selling some of these inputs have closed shop because of the high cost of getting their own materials to sell, particularly the feeds. And they have, in the same vein, some farms have closed. Some of us are just managing to exist because we feed from it, and at the same time we sell our products a little bit. And comparing to the previous years, it's much more difficult for people to buy, because as a consequence of what we are buying at very exorbitant rates, our own products have to be sold at equivalently high prices, and it has also brought down the capacity of people to buy, and therefore reduce the population of people. So all in all, many people struggle to get things available, and many people will shed tears to buy some of these products. So it's to be a kind of mixed bag. Production may slightly go down compared to the previous years, and the capacity to buy, people will drop. That is the summary. That is the outlook for the year. I will just take the last 2 years or the last 1 year, compare to the present year. By this time last year and the previous year, we're buying inputs. For example, a particular input which we bought about a year and the year before about 6,000, such have grown to an average of 17.5, that means they have also almost tripled the prices. And if the prices are tripled in one of the items, others may follow suit. They may not be in the same ratio. But for you to get your own products out, there is no way you will not, at least you do as much as possible to break even if it's not up to the expected margin.
According to the Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, in 2023, over 50% of poultry farms shut down as a result of several challenges within the sector. The crash in the sector inevitably led to an inability to meet demands for eggs, leading to a price hike.
In about 2 years, 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, we were selling a crate of eggs by 1,005, and now it's about 2,005, which means 3,005. It is more than double. If you do the arithmetic, it's more than 200%. So, and even the capacity of people to buy is slimming down. The only thing is that particularly eggs is a little bit of a seasonal, how do we call it, product. Seasonal in the sense that, no, they are readily available all the time, but the purchasing, how do we call it, the available market to sell is seasonal, because particularly when the school seasons are on, you sell higher, and when the school seasons are off, then there will be glut. So some of this will be available, you will not find people to buy. All in all, we are trying as much as possible to break even amidst costs. You reduce this year, reduce labor, reduce other costs here and there, and at the end of the day, you'll be able to make margin, but it can never be as comparable as it is in the previous year. Just as I mentioned, where you expected customers to come and buy, only 4 or 5 will come, and at the end of the day, even there sometimes you'll be forced to sell at discount rates. When I had some at a particular point in time, I had over 100 crates of eggs available unsold. So I have to look for market, go elsewhere, transport them to Kuje, and sell at discounted price, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that will happen.
The astronomical hike in the prices of various products and services has had a major impact in running costs, pushing farmers to take out of pocket in order to keep their farms going.
Sometimes we have to take internal loan. When I say take internal loan, is that you either take loan from what you have to use in feeding yourself outside the poultry business, then you loan to yourself, or you approach some people to loan. It's very difficult to approach commercial houses for loan, because even the terms they will give you may be very difficult for you to meet. And when I say conditions now, what qualifies you, what will be the collateral, how the profit you pay at the end of the day, and so on and so forth. So it's quite that sometimes you may resort into maybe using your personal connection to raise funds. And in doing that, if you are lucky, the ones who are not buying, but in most cases, when you are talking, I should not talk on myself, but I talk of the global market. In most cases, people who go for funds outside even the financial houses also pay, how do we call it, profits on such funds. So we try to make up here and there, and with the hope that it cannot be all the same all through. At a particular time, we may be down in the yield. At a particular time, it will improve. So you take a loan with the hope that when the season comes and starts selling very well, we'll be able to cope. So definitely, if you want to rely on yourself, there's no way it will not be difficult for you. So you need to bring in funds from here and there and so on to support yourself. From there, you pay salaries. If your farm is located some stretch away from your place of residence, you buy fuel, and because of to reduce the level of abuse, theft, and many other things, you need to be readily available on daily basis. And coming on daily basis, you know how much it will cost you fueling. And at the end of the day, you have to pay costs, spend a little bit, invest a little bit in security to make sure you monitor your staff, and so on and so forth. So all these things are costs. So by the time you put all this together, they are enormous, and it puts a lot of strain on the operators of the business. Basically, in my work, I see that I lose some of my birds. May not necessarily be attributed to maybe any outbreak of any sickness or any attack, but it could be that it could be as a result of pilfering here and there. In most cases, unless you are lucky to have very dedicated and honest staff, there are some of these things that can happen. There are some of these leakages that can come through them, through connivance and all this type of thing. Even people can come here in the night, do anything they want to do. And we are human beings. Sometimes we are bound to sleep very deep. Whatever security you put around, some people try to do, there will be a way of abusing. But all in all, the major thing we faced out again, we had some weather-related problems, particularly between February and end of March to early April. We had some very big heat wave, which caused a lot of deaths to our birds. So that is deaths, reducing their population, at the same time reducing the population, both in quantity and quantity of lay and even quality of the eggs. When I say quality, I'm talking of the size. It's not necessarily the chemical composition of the eggs, but the sizes were reduced and the number they laying were reduced, and definitely this one will impact on your profitability. I did a case study in particular one. There are about 2 or 3 locations, but particularly the one behind you, I started with a population of 934. At the end of the heat wave, it came to 700, and I lost about 120 something within that time. And that is big more. And the stretch of time, we're losing one. No, there are some that are natural, just like human beings. They die due to some. You can attribute some of them to some particular case of sickness or any other thing, or drug administration and so on and so forth. But the ones that we know, we could attribute to that the weather condition. About if you've taken 100 out of about 900, you are talking of something above 12% loss within that period of time.
The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) says food price index for December 2023 showed that the cost of chicken feed rose by 81.71% on a year-on-year basis from December 2022 to December 2023. We'll be taking a short break, and when we return, we will be discussing projections for crop farming. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, and once again, my name is Chamunda Beng, and today we will be casting our focus onto the projections for the rest of the 2024 farming year. Crop farming in Nigeria makes up for over 87.6% of the industry's total output, making it the largest segment in farming. And this very large and equally important segment is left in the hands of millions of smallholder farmers who represent over 80% of farmers in Nigeria.
The importance of this facet in farming cannot be overstated, as Nigeria relies on it for almost 90% of its food, meaning an inability to meet up with demand will result in price hikes and even worse, food scarcity.
Bayanin da zan iya ba ku a rayuwarmu na yau kowa ya san shi. Domin da muna samu abu a sauki mu buga noma inda mun ga dama. Amma na ɗaya yanzu iri ya yi tsada, magana abinci ma an karasa yaya. Kai ka je gonan kamar yanzu damuwa ne, kana nan a gona da tsoro wani ne yana zuwan kaji motsi sai ka waiwaya, ko lokacin da ya kamata ka kai a gona ba za ka kai ba. Na biyun shi taki wanda ya kamata mu yi noma babu shi. Yanzu mun koma muna bi ruga muna kwashe takin shanu mu zo mu zuba ma amfani. To guda nawa za ka yi? Mai yiwuwa kana noma taki buhu 50, 100, yau baka isa ka nome taki buhu 5 ko buhu 6 ba. Domin taki buhu ɗaya yanzu 41,000 ne. To buhu nawa za ka siya? Nawa ka aje? Damuwanmu mu samu kayan aiki babu. Abinci man da za mu ci a gidanmu ma yana gagara bale har ka sayar ma wani. Kaga matsalar da muna ciki sosai yanzu. Kai ma za ka je ka sayi iri mudu ɗaya yanzu wanda za ka yi shuki yanzu nawa. Domin shinkafa na yanzu za ka je ka saya buhu yanzu 56,000, buhu 55. Kila gane magana na? To za ka fara ina. Damuwan da muke da shi kenan, ga ba kudi. Ko in za ka je kasuwa ma yanzu, ya za ka yi ka hau mota ka je kasuwa? Kudi mota ya yawa, in ka yi magana cin mai. To mu mashin da za mu hau ma, kai ba ka yi saka sayan mai lita 1 yanzu ma. Kaga duka wayannan damuwoyin da muke da su kenan. Amma da ce muna da kayan aiki, iri wadatacce ne, lafiya yana nan. Za a je ka sunkuya a gonan ka aiki inda ka ga dama, kaga wannan ba damuwa ba. In mun samu kowa zai iya samu, in ba mu samu ba wa zai samu? Ko iya damuwan mu kenan. Gwamnati tuna ba da bashi ka je ka buga gona, amma yanzu ka je gwamnati sun ce wai ba su da kuɗi ba. To ya za ka yi? Ba inda za mu yi mu fara. Shi yasa muna nan muna yi shi kadan. Wannan man bai ishe mu ci a gidanmu ba, bale mu ce za mu kai kasuwa mu sayar da shi. Kin ga damuwan da yana nan kenan.
Much like Ibrahim, the cost of operations has become a heavy burden for Wakili as he calls to the government for support.
Gwamnati su taimake mu su ba mu abin da za mu ci, su taimake mu da kudin da za mu yi noma, su taimake mu da taki. In mun samu taki ko ba kudi mu lallaba mu yi. Ko gashi yanzu ya kamata gwamnati ta ce wai gashi nan a rarraba mu iyali su ci, babu. Muna ta wahalar kanmu kamar ba mu da gwamnati ba. Ko amma gobe a dawa za a ce ku zabe mu, za mu yi muku abu kaza, za mu yi abu kaza, sai mu zabe ku, sai ku je ku zauna wuri tsuru, sai mu yi ta wahala. Kuma kun zo kun gani ai, ya kamata ni in zo gona yanzu ina aiki, amma kun zo kun same ni a gona.
Insecurity has become a major stumbling block in the growth of the agricultural sector. Farmer-herder clashes have left a constant and looming fear of an impending attack, which farmer Suleiman Abubakar says has prevented him and other farmers from farming into the late evening hours. However, despite this, Abubakar believes the yield will be good.
We are facing a lot of challenge in the area of security in the farming work now. Now, if you go to the farm, maybe around 8, 9, before 4 or 5, you have to leave because of this bandit and kidnapping issue. One has to leave. So we don't have enough time to go to the inside bush and be farming. We don't have rest of mind on that. So it affected the production, in the farming production also. So therefore, government has to stood up and look into that area so that we have full time to be doing the farming work. Like now, we are even hurry. We are even hurry. If God can bring water now, rain will fall now. That is where we are going to put our head now. Really, we are expecting rain. With this, you can see with the little rain that just for last month, that is a month of March now. Some of us started clearing the farm because with the kind of suffering people are in now, the farmers, they are too eager to go back to the farming work. So before, within 2-3 months now, the production don't start coming back to home. So with the long period of dry season, it is still affecting our production. Understand? So now we are ever ready. If rain can fall today, I think we are going back to the farm today.
There are several other factors that can have an impact on the yield for 2024. Factors like weather, technical know-how, awareness, amongst others. As bleak as things may be in projecting what the yield would look like for the rest of the year of 2024, Executive Secretary for the Fertilizers Producers and Suppliers Association of Nigeria FEPSAN, Gideon Nigedu, says it's been an interesting year but remains hopeful.
Like we all know, the cost of inputs have been a bit pricey, but there have been specific interventions on the part of government to ensure that these things are affordable. And I have to commend government. There have been serious effort to ensure that farmers get these things cheap, especially fertilizers. Amongst all the inputs, okay, fertilizer is the single most expensive input. All right, so government has done what it is doing a lot to make sure. In some cases, they actually are giving the product completely free to the farmers. It's unprecedented. It's never happened before. We have our concerns as production companies, but we do also understand that there's a need at this time for everybody to work together to ensure that we are able to produce the food that we need. So we will shelve our concerns for now, and we're engaging government, and they are positively responding to us to ensure that whatever interventions they are making does not distort the whole market, you know, as a whole. And we're getting very good feedback. Now, given that, we've seen the yield in what we call the dry season program for wheat that was done, and the numbers we're hearing so far, you know, not just the numbers, because we also track to see during the life of the production of these crops how healthy these crops are. We are seeing very good response, especially wheat. The wheat story is interesting. We're hearing yields of as high as 5 tons, okay, and possibly more, okay. 4 to 5 tons is very encouraging, okay, because that will mean that Nigeria is going to grow its capacity significantly to reduce its import bill on wheat. On maize and other crops, government is intervening. There is support through the African Development Bank, and we can predict reasonably that food will be affordable. Okay, it may not be as expensive as we initially were worried about, because government is taking up some of that heat. There's a lot of effort that's being put in place by the government, a lot in terms of funding, in terms of security measures that government is putting in place. But how that is feeding, how government is communicating its security strategy and all that, I think that needs to be improved upon. I give you an example. Kaduna, Abuja, prior to when we had this banditry, it was a no-brainer. You enter your car anytime you're in Kaduna and all that. But when you now had this crisis, it became difficult to travel to Kaduna because the perception was that these bandits are there. But even the bandits, even if they want to, they can't be on the road every day. And even if they are on the road every day, they can't be in the road all the time. Okay, so it's just a perception, a worry that they could come out anytime. And sadly, because of the frequency you're having it that time, it has just seeped into people's consciousness to be careful. I have people who still won't travel by train because they are worried about what happened the first time. Now, I know in the recent times, because you hear people say they are coming from Kaduna, they are traveling, and how did you? They say they feel it's safe, it's secure. But the message is not, it's not percolating, it's not going round enough. You need to let people know that what you are doing, let people know that it's safe, it's secure to do this, to do that here. Most embassies abroad, and I'm sure ours too, when we are, foreign embassies rather, and even our own embassies abroad too, we always give security alert to their citizens to say, look, if you go to certain states, it could be a problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? Those that information need to be updated or given on a regular basis so that people feel safe. Now, bringing it back to the farmer, farmers don't feel safe because they keep hearing these stories. So even if it's not generally in your area, okay, if it's not happening in your specific community or anything, because you heard it happen in that community, and sadly again, the last couple of years had been terrible. The frequency of that thing and the way it was rampant was a problem. So even though there's a lot of improvement now, farmers are not getting that awareness. I know a number of farmers who are worried that they won't go to their farm. Meanwhile, in their general area, if you sit down with security people and even some other people that may not, be farmers, necessarily farmers, they will tell you that it's safe, things are not as bad as they used to be before. But it's still, no, that's the problem. The perception, government needs to do a lot to communicate that it is safe to go out now. All right? Farmers need to be told, need to be encouraged that it is safe. Farmers also need to be advised, as everybody should, where the red spots, the red areas are.
Negadu further stressed the need for the federal government to encourage farmers to ramp up production so the country can move away from importation, produce enough for both the country and exportation.
With the farming season actively engaged by stakeholders in the agricultural sector amidst concerns over severe food shortages and growing malnutrition issues amongst the young, experts are of the opinion that the time for the government at both national and sub-national levels is to rejig their policies and actions towards addressing the key challenges militating against the sector. I am Chamun Dabeng. Bye for now.